Peter Parker's had it rough the past few months, being framed for murder with a $5 million bounty on his head. But with the Gathering of Five and new mysteries to unravel fast approaching, things have gotten even crazier. Between the Black Tarantula, Norman Osborn, the Stacy family, new identities, Green Goblins, the Daily Grind crew, and the Trapster, will we rise above it all or crack under the weight? Welcome to the Forgotten Era, where we'll answer all those questions and more. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Forgotten Era podcast. I hope you're never getting sick of that intro because I have no other way to introduce the show. It's me, Ethan, once again. And we're back for week 2 of Identity Crisis, covering Ricochet. I am once again joined by Louise this time. Not Adam Chapman. Not him. But don't worry, he'll be on the next one. But it's Louise. Thank you for being here.
Happy to be here.
The last episode we did was really fun. It's crazy that it was like 2 hours long. It didn't feel that way.
It really didn't. No.
When I was going back and having to re-listen to it and like edit it, I was like, God, we just talked forever, and I left most of it in. I don't think I really cut a whole lot. But that was a fun chat. So I'm hoping today's kind of the same way. Obviously not a symbiote thing, but
no, yeah, I was gonna say, like, as I did enjoy. Oh, well, I guess that's spoilers, but like, I did think there was a lot less to talk about with some of these.
Yeah, no, that's super fair. It's kind of that Amazing Spider-Man weirdness where like this book kind of feels the most one and done. There's not a whole lot of depth to it compared to a lot of the other stuff of this time period. But yeah, like I said, today is Ricochet's day to shine, or I guess to bounce. I don't know what the best term would be for that. Amazing Spider-Man numbers 433 through 435. What I did last episode on the Hornet one was give a little bit of the background of the development of the identity. With Ricochet, there's really not a whole lot. It's not as much as what was said about the Hornet.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of like DeFalco talking about the development of the Hornet. It's just Mark Buckingham, who isn't an artist of this time period, but designed Ricochet very well, I might add. He kind of like talked about his inspirations. So I was just going to read directly from the trade paperback of that development really quick.
Okay.
So The Amazing Ricochet by artist Mark Buckingham. Drawing inspiration from various clothing styles, as well as a couple of his favorite all-time superhero costumes, Buckingham cooked up a brash, young look for the impulsive Ricochet. This is a quote. I liked that historical/military look, and I had Captain Britain on the mind when I started. Other people have told me that Ricochet looks like Madman, but I didn't realize this at the time. I combined Captain Britain with the amalgam Spider-Boy. I liked the Spider-Man with jacket look. It started me rolling. I added the Captain Britain riding breeches. The logo was just me trying to incorporate Ricochet as the stylized R. So,
all right,
that's it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But cool, Spider-Boy, yay!
Yeah. I was honestly thinking when because right now when you were talking about like how the design came together, I was thinking in my mind like, well, I'm assuming probably Superboy or Spider-Boy being influences, because yeah, the whole jacket over the leotard was that Superboy that first did that, or at least Superboy was the one that kind of made that a big deal in the 90s.
Yeah, definitely, because that's what, 92, 93, so
yeah. And
I really like Ricochet's look. It's probably my favorite look of the 4 identities.
Okay, I feel that. God, which one's my favorite? Oof, probably Hornet, honestly, for me. Yeah.
Hornet's. I love the colors of Hornet, and I like the theming. I don't know, something about the Ricochet like fuckboy haircut. I just really like it.
No, it's the most fun of the 4, I feel like, but
Yeah.
Hornet, it's the colors and also kind of the story behind it. I like that it's, Hobie Brown who designed it and gave it to Peter. I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, they're all pretty cool. I mean, like
Mhm.
Dusk is the boring one, but I don't know. I just love the way that the Ricochet looks. But that's really all we got for him. There's no other accounts from anyone else really, whether it be Joe Bennett or otherwise, or Tom DeFalco. So thanks, Mark Buckingham. You eventually do a really good run on Spider-Man. So thumbs up. Um, if you don't have anything to add before, we can just kind of start the recap. But if you'd like to say anything prior, you're more than welcome to.
Um, I can't really think of anything specific right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I guess we're getting right into it.
sounds good.
Amazing Spider-Man number 433, The Long Farewell, was released on February 11th of 1998. Written by Tom DeFalco, with art by Tom Lyle, woo,
Woo.
Bud LaRosa, and colors by Bob Sharon. On the run from the police, famed Marvel villain Mr. Hyde breaks into a men's clothing store to find something fresh to wear. He recently had a run-in with the Hulk that made him abandon his luggage and also had him jump from an airplane. He injects himself with the serum that returns him to his original Calvin Zabo form. Meanwhile, in the hospital room of Jill Stacy, MJ, Peter, and Chantel are there checking in on Jill. Pete feels bad about Jill being shot in his home, and also recaps all the crazy Spider-Man activities in recent times. His framing, the Bugle's bounty, almost being killed by Black Tarantula, and most recently, him spraining his ankle in Sensational 26. MJ's Professor Marina shows up with her boyfriend Dante Rigoletto, a last name that Pete recognizes, but he can't quite put a finger on. MJ gives Peter and herself an exit, and they go on their way home. Pete promises to find whoever attacked Jill, and MJ reminds him that he can barely walk right now. She once again reiterates that being Spider-Man at this time is too much of a risk. Pete tells her he's trying to be careful and isn't even wearing his suit that day. As the two walk away, Chessbro is watching them from the shadows. We cut to Martha and Robbie, once again talking about Robbie's decision to leave the Bugle before heading to his going away party. MJ and Pete talk with Billy Walters for a bit, where MJ tells Billy he should dress up more often. She has some friends who may be interested. Just then, Pete's spider sense goes off, and he sees the mysterious Calvin Zabo, another name he recognizes, check into the hotel. Pete wanders off to follow Zabo, but MJ pulls him away. MJ and Pete are met by the Bugle's ex-interns Phil Urich and Meredith Campbell. They weren't invited, but Pete won't rat them out, which for some reason turns into a whole inner monologue about him not being a superhero, like a good superhero. It's really weird. In the main hall, Joe, Martha, Ben Urich, and his wife are all standing around talking about Norman's interference at the Bugle. JJ shows up and gives the Robertsons a bonus from Osborn, which Martha says will go towards their second honeymoon to the Aegean Sea in Greece. Pete asks Urich if he knows the name Calvin Zabo, and Urich immediately knows he's Mr. Hyde. Pete slips away, unsure in his ability to face Hyde with his ankle situation. But Peter being Peter, he takes it upon himself to act. Donning Phil Urich's green hoodie, which Phil thankfully buys extra large, Pete reminisces about Ben Reilly's hoodies. Man, he misses Ben. Me too, buddy. Anyway, it's action time, as Pete tracks down Hyde's room. Hyde sees him, transforms, and they begin brawling. Well, more like Hyde starts running and Pete won't let him, jumping around and eventually kicking Hyde with his bad leg. Hyde assumes the man attacking is his old partner, the Deadly Cobra, but he couldn't be further from the truth. Pete saves Martha and Joe from being hurt as the police come and subdue Hyde. Pete sneaks back into the venue, returning Phil's hoodie. JJ begins his classic outburst, claiming his party is ruined and they won't even get news out of it, but Pete chimes in with a roll of film. He somehow snapped pics of Hyde's arrest. On their way home, Pete tries to apologize to MJ for what happened, but she won't allow him. She knows what she's getting herself into and admires Pete's responsibility. She's okay with him fighting crime, as long as he avoids the Spider-Man getup, and she has a few ideas for that. And there you go.
All right.
ASM 433. This is an issue of a comic book.
That this is true. This is factual evidence right here.
Yeah. I think it was published once.
I thought it was interesting that we got to go through the entire issue with Peter out of costume,
Yeah.
which kind of reminded me of like Ultimate Spider-Man later on, which would love to do entire arcs sometimes with Peter not being in costume.
It just doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm wondering, it's probably not, but I am wondering if this is the first instance of an entire issue going by with Peter not being in costume. Like,
I don't 100% know, and I can't really remember. But I think this month, particularly February,
mhm,
is kind of like that's two of the four books of that month have Peter not in costume.
really?
So, yeah, because Sensational has Peter as Spider-Man, obviously,
Hmm.
and then adjectiveless, or it's not adjectiveless at this part. Peter Parker has him in costume as well in the Negative Zone.
Mm,
But this book and Spectacular, in Spectacular, he wears the second Bagman costume, which is just him like in his underwear
I
with the
see.
bag on his head, and then this is the hoodie. So I don't know. I guess I like that idea a lot. I think it's really interesting to have these where he knows he can't put on the Spider-Man suit, so he has to improvise.
Yeah.
Um, it's a great like just introduction to the whole identity crisis thing.
No, yeah, I definitely think it was, to me, it was one of the most interesting parts of the issue was just being able to see what he does in a situation, not only where he doesn't have his costume, but it's also probably a good thing that he doesn't have it because of the
Yeah,
situation that he's
exactly.
in. So yeah, I like that aspect of it. And yeah, I was just kind of wondering if, because this would later on, yeah, become more of a staple and it would be done a lot more often, but it was definitely not so common back then for an entire issue of a Spider-Man comic to just not feature the iconic costume in it.
Yeah, and not even the cover has the costume on it, which even like Ultimate Spider-Man fell into that because they had those kind of like generic pinup covers for a long time.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Um, which I say generic pinup covers, and they're some of the most beautiful pieces of artwork I've ever seen in my life. But you get what I'm saying, where it doesn't have anything to do with the title,
Mhm.
or like the book. But when it comes to this one, I like that they're fighting like in a Spider-Man symbol, but Peter's not in costume at all. I like that there's such a focus on Peter's ankle in this issue
Yeah.
because if I don't remember, like if I'm remembering right, neither of the next two, Peter Parker or Spectacular, reference it at all,
Hmm.
and it's barely anything and sensational. I didn't even mention it last episode in my recap because I just totally forgot to. But yeah, he lands funny when he comes out of a water tower and he sprains his ankle basically. But here
I
he
was
is,
wondering what exactly happened
yeah,
to it.
because he
I just kind of
he
accepted it
a
as
lady got like knocked out
yeah.
in a water tower and he had to save her and he sprains his ankle on his way out because he's not in his Spider-Man suit basically is what happens.
Oh, okay.
But here he is walking around with a cane the entire issue.
Feels
Like
feels like Spider-Girl all over again.
yeah. Yeah, Spider-Girl before Spider-Girl.
I
um
also was enjoying the setting, Joe's retirement party at the Bugle.
yeah,
Uh, and I just really appreciate that they are making that kind of like separation uh kind of like a big deal. Because I mean, we talked about it last time in those Carnage issues because, I mean, that's
but now they're finally doing something about it, so you're
exactly.
happy.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm
So we're all happy actually, but
no, yeah. I'm reading it. I'm like, oh, thank God, they're actually.
we don't have to have them question it for the next 5 issues.
It's finally here. It's over. We can move on.
Yeah, we just needed a couple more panels of them going, "But Joe, you gotta leave," and he could have just been like, "I'm already gone. it's it's fine."
I mean, we
But
got we got some panels of other members of the Bugle debating whether or not they should follow his lead.
yeah,
So I guess there's it's still there. The DNA's still there.
yeah,
But
uh,
I enjoyed the setting. Is my point.
yeah. I think the setting is the most unique, but that the setting and Peter not wearing the costume are the two most unique things about this.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love a good Ben Riley callback, so it's nice to see, when Peter puts on a hoodie, he immediately thinks of Ben. But also, man, what fucking size does Phil Urich buy his sweatshirts? Because Peter's like a beefy man, and Phil's like 100 pounds soaking wet.
No,
Like
yeah, he
it's
specifically mentions, and I think it must just be the writers being like, okay, we have to address this because he
yeah.
has it
I
in
do
his.
like that he does say it.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that he has to say it out loud. He's just like, "Oh, thank God Phil gets extra large baggy sweaters so that I can
Yeah.
actually fit in it."
Well, and like when you see Phil in those like couple panels, it doesn't look like it's that big. So I don't know, man. But it's fine. I like that he's wearing a green hoodie because I like hoodies and my favorite color is green. So, and it's drawn by Tom Lyle.
And
I don't know.
I think it does lead to probably my favorite moment in the issue, which was the gag that makes you think that Phil is recognizing Peter, but then it's just that he recognizes his own hoodie.
Yeah,
I thought that was funny. Such a it's just such a fun way of using the panels to, tell a joke.
it would have been really cool, or just like more fun if they would have had the like initial recognizing on one page and then you had to turn the page to get the like the rest of it. But I think it
Yeah.
still works either way really well. I like how the whole thing is like Peter can't move in a specific way because he doesn't want the light to show his face.
No,
Like when he's
yeah.
helping Joe and stuff, he's like, "Don't look up, don't look up, don't look up."
Yeah, he's just kind of like sticking his head up so nobody's gonna look at his face and all that.
Yeah,
It's
he just looks like the Spectre.
it's unfortunate that
He's got the green hood.
Mr. Hyde is basically such a nothing villain. He
Yeah, I don't like care at all in this issue about him really.
and it's also like I could have cared more if he was taken down in even a slightly satisfying way.
It's very anticlimactic
Yeah,
because Peter had really nothing to do with the takedown.
the fight kind of just ended.
Yeah, he kicks him and then boom, SWAT,
Yeah,
and then he just runs
I
away.
was very disappointed by the ending. I was like, all right, I guess we're done. What was
Yeah.
that all about?
I don't know. The issue as a whole, I
Mhm,
understand it's a prelude to what we're going to get into with everything, with
mhm.
Identity Crisis itself. But the fact that it has nothing to do with Identity Crisis is a little disappointing because
Yeah.
every other book of the, prelude month establishes something. Like,
Mhm.
well, Spectacular not so much. There's a little bit of referencing, but at least like Sensational, we had, it showed like
Mhm.
Adrian Toomes getting exonerated and stuff. So like we're establishing the villain of the Identity Crisis arc through
Yeah.
him. And even through like the looter issue, we get that too.
I
But
guess.
here, there's no reference to Delilah, Black Tarantula, really anything. It's just like here's a villain that has nothing to do with Spider-Man,
Mhm.
who hasn't faced Spider-Man in this series at all, or any of the series in years. But like in terms of at least like Mr. Hyde is not a Spider-Man villain, so the fact that they chose a non-Spider-Man villain for this issue was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I would have appreciated if it was like, I don't know, like it, the Shocker or the Rhino or whatever the fuck. Just someone we recognize to where it's at least there's like some fun banter that we can get into, even if we're not that invested in the fight. It's like, all right, at least I'm seeing Peter try to fight someone that he's used to fighting, but out of costume, and seeing how that changes their dynamic.
Yeah, that would have been a lot more interesting than someone that he says to himself that he has a hard time facing even at full strength. And like that is an okay statement to say.
Hmm.
Like that adds to, the suspense of the fight, but it would mean a lot more if he was fighting someone we cared about.
Yeah,
As Spider-Man readers we cared about.
I would,
Not to say that Mr. Hyde doesn't have like, fans or whatever because he's a known Marvel villain, but in the Spider-Man space, he's not involved at all.
I would have gone
Especially not at this time
with,
period.
I would have gone with Rhino personally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think like Rhino hasn't done anything for years at this point, so this could have been his grand return.
Hmm.
But I do like later on Rhino's used in Sensational Spider-Man for Mike Ringo's last issue, so that's a really great issue. I guess it's kind of nice that that's the Rhino return to the
Hmm.
main books, but at the same time, a big like beefier character like that. I mean, even if it was like I don't know Stegron or something,
Oh,
just like
Stegron would have been sick. I fucking love
just like
Stegron.
just like a character that's big and strong and could just randomly run into the scene that Peter has to fight really quick.
No, like honestly,
Because Stegron's more integral to Spider-Man than Mr. Hyde is.
yeah, honestly, yeah, I would have enjoyed Stegron significantly more, and that's not just because Stegron is unironically one of my favorites. He's so fun. I wish he was utilized more often. I feel like you could absolutely tell more fun and interesting stories with that character, and they don't really seem to want to. I guess
You know,
because no
they're
one takes him seriously, and yeah, I don't blame anyone for not taking him
I feel like
seriously.
that's part of the thing that makes him an interesting character, though, is that
Mhm.
no one takes him seriously. That's always like the big thing with a lot of characters. I mean, like Shocker is the biggest one, especially in this time period where it's like a character that isn't taken seriously, and he's also a big deal right now, specifically.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, it's just an odd choice overall. I would be I feel like I'd take some flack if I didn't acknowledge this,
Mhm.
but I don't think that this is Tom Lyle's best work.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it, but I was a little let
Yeah, no,
down.
we have to address it. It's I don't I don't think it's after speaking some of the book, like the action scenes look really fantastic,
Hmm.
but it's the face work that I think suffered a bit here.
Yeah,
There's a lot of awkward faces, like Martha Robertson looks kind of odd in spots, and Peter doesn't. There's the panel where Peter's like, okay, it's the whole page in general.
hmm,
Phil Urich's face is kind of scary, and then Peter's face in the panel next to it is just weird. No one looks on model, I think
yeah.
is the best way to put it. Like the ones that look the most on model are Jonah and Joe Robertson and like Mary Jane. But Peter's looking kind of weird. His Billy Walters, I really do not like that much. Um, and then Ben Urich looks good too. It's kind of hard to mess him up.
I think I was a little disappointed with the coloring too. I felt like it wasn't the way to go with Lyle's art. I don't know.
It,
I don't know what it
yeah,
is.
we're in that weird in between period. I really like Bob Sharon as a colorist. Like I
Hmm.
think he does really fantastic work when he's working with his normal crew of like either Steve Scroce or Joy Bennett or with Bud LaRosa.
Hmm.
But here it doesn't it's weird. Tom's main collaborator around this time was Robert Jones,
Hmm.
and they worked together on the two annuals that came out in 1997.
Hmm.
And I don't know if them working together on this would have improved that at all, or if it was just a case of it's a in between month. Let's just fill out the page and be done with it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that like I said, I don't think everything's bad, and I think Bud LaRosa's inks work well on Tom's pencils in the scenes that are
Hmm.
really great, but on the things where I guess where the layouts weren't very strong, it's just kind of awkward to look
I
at.
think
I think page 18 is one of my favorites of the entire book
yeah.
until you get to the very bottom panel, and then like Joe and Martha's faces are really strange. But I don't know. It's fine. It's not the worst book I've ever seen. Obviously, I still think it's a strong art book, but I don't know if it's it's definitely not the best either.
What came first, this or Venom Agenda?
This
This.
came first,
Okay.
yeah, because this was 98
Gotcha.
and Venom Agenda was 99.
Oh,
No,
yeah, because I was gonna say I think the most impressed I've been by Lyle's artwork was Venom Agenda, even if I don't think the story itself was anything good at all, really.
Yeah, and that was Robert Jones was inking him on that one, so
Gotcha.
that was like their usual collaborator thing. And I liked I don't remember who the colorist was on that book, but it was
Hmm.
mostly digital colors, and it looked really
It
great,
looks,
honestly.
yeah, it looks fantastic. That's definitely one that I like to revisit. I tend to just kind of look over the words.
Yeah, you just go, wow, pretty picture. They fight.
Like, oh my goodness, look at how Venom looks. He looks so cool.
Lyle's Venom is sweet.
It
You know,
really
I've
is,
always
yeah.
said it, but when you start your career on Spider-Man drawing Venom and Carnage, you kind of get known for drawing Venom and Carnage.
Hmm.
So whenever he got to do it, it was super cool. Not Carnage as much, but he got to do Venom quite a bit. But yeah, not the strongest Lyle book, but I'm just happy to see him at all, really,
Yeah,
because
I feel
he's
that.
got this issue, and then he's got like 6 fill-in pages in a sensational issue, which I think that those pages are really great, but they do not work well for sensational Spider-Man. But I'll
Mm,
cross that bridge when I get to it.
okay,
um, Overall, it was a fine issue.
that's all
I think
right.
it's kind of middle of the road.
Hmm.
I don't want to be too harsh, but I'm thinking like a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I was thinking a little slightly closer to a 6, but still a 5, so like a 5.5.
Yeah,
It just kind of exists. It it had the bones of a much more entertaining issue than it ended up being. Because
I agree with
the
that.
setting and the concept of like, Peter having to fight out of costume and, having to do this in a setting where everyone knows him is just a fun idea. That's like absolutely ripe with tension as an idea. And I don't think that they fully capitalized on it. And I feel like it would have worked even better if you'd used a villain that we are attached to, a villain that Peter fights more regularly, because you get to see that new dynamic where this is this villain maybe does or doesn't recognize that it's Spider-Man. Maybe they fought him so many times that, after like a minute or two, they're like, "Holy shit, you piece of shit! I know who you are." Yeah.
Yeah, you know you're not a Spider-Man villain when you can immediately tell someone's Spider-Man.
Hmm.
But yeah, it is what it is. But now we move into the actual crisis,
Mm.
which is the two-parter in Amazing Spider-Man's 434 and 435. I'm covering 434, then Louise is going to take over for 435. Thank you for that.
Woo.
Anytime I don't have to write another recap, I am a happy Ethan. So, Amazing Spider-Man 434, Round and Round with Ricochet, was released on March 11th of 1998. Written by Tom DeFalco with our normal art crew, Joe Bennett, Bud LaRosa, and Bob Sharon. It's another day in good old Manhattan, and Peter's newest identity, Ricochet, is busting up a hijacking. Though not for righteous justice. Oh my god, words. Righteous justice. No, it's to get a piece of that sweet profit. The Ricochet identity was created by Peter to infiltrate and get revenge on the Black Tarantula. He uses his incredible agility to ricochet around and has disc projectiles that do the same. Pete flees the scene when the police are called, but he knows someone is watching him from the shadows. Classic 90s Spidey. In a flashback, we see Pete at the Bugle with Ben Urich. Urich has been researching Black Tarantula, and all of his sources are dating back to before World War II. Could the tarantula really be that old? Before he can think too hard, MJ enters the scene and drags Pete out to go shopping. The two are stopped by Norman, who comes to gloat to Peter's face about the Hornet and his claims of New York not needing to worry about Spider-Man. They're then all interrupted by Glory Grant reading a postcard from Robbie and Martha. They've explored quite a bit of Greece and are now in, oh god, I don't know how to pronounce this. Oba? Euboa? Sorry, Greek people. Hearing this, Norman frantically leaves and Peter is intrigued. In Greece, with Martha and Joe, Martha wants to share the beautiful view with her husband, but Joe has an important phone call to make. A mysterious man on the phone has found out that a yacht Robbie has been investigating is owned by Osborn. Just what Robbie wanted to hear. Back with Peter and MJ, still in the flashback, they visit a used clothing store to establish Peter's fourth and final identity. MJ finds a rad leather jacket with a big R on it, and the clerk says they have a shirt to match. The two leave with their R gear in hand, but now have to come up with a good name for the identity. Now in the present, Pete confronts his pursuer, who is none other than Delilah. Delilah is looking to recruit Ricochet and to join her and the Rose in taking down the Black Tarantula. But first, she wants Ricochet to prove himself. In Greece, the secret society of scryers visits none other than Allison Mongrain. They are there to relieve Mongrain of what she's been guarding for Osborn, but she's grown rather attached to it and wishes to go with the scryers. They decline, get what they came for, and leave Mongrain with the yacht. Unfortunately, it was a trap and the yacht explodes. The scryers leave, and another shadowy figure, still very 90s Spidey, watches them. Ricochet and Delilah's battle continues, as Pete claims to only be in the spandex game for money. Delilah offers him unlimited profits if he survives, which Pete has every intention of doing. Fortunately, Delilah has no idea that Ricochet is actually Spider-Man. Unfortunately, that means Pete can't rely on his spider sense and has to get flung around a bit. Delilah has a full-on mental breakdown about Black Tarantula, raving about his immortality, his strength, and most important of all, her death and resurrection by his hands. She offers Ricochet the chance to join her, as long as he thinks he's man enough to do so. Pete doesn't know if he were to join if he could prevent Delilah from killing Black Tarantula, but he also doesn't know if he could stop himself from doing it. Delilah asks if he's in, and Peter agrees. On Staten Island, the home of Don Fortunato, the Rose is upset with BT for hijacking his hijacking industry and not offering him any compensation. Black Tarantula offers a monthly payment to the Rose as a compromise. At ESU, MJ and Chantel invite their professor Marina to get coffee. She agrees, but has to make a quick stop so she can pick up her son. The two girls didn't know she had a son, and Marina says that's mostly because of the bitter breakup she had with the kid's father. Once again in Greece, Joe and Martha witness the explosion of the yacht. Joe is devastated, but before all hope is lost, Allison Mongrain washes up on shore. Chesborough is once again watching the ladies and reports to Black Tarantula, this time with a photo of the three. Little does the Rose or Fortunato know, BT isn't in New York for money, he just wants revenge on whichever woman he is after. And there you go, 434. That's a loaded issue.
No, yeah, a lot happens in this one for sure.
Yeah. But I really like Ricochet. I just think that the idea
Mm-hmm.
of the identity being kind of like a gun for hire
Mm-hmm.
is fun, and I like that the Ricochet name is just from Peter's ability to bounce around really quick.
No, yeah, I mean, well, he has to, figure out ways to use his abilities in a way that, well, he's still able to use them, but also not give away who he really is. So, just making it seem more like his abilities to bounce around, which he is able to do, it's pretty smart.
Yeah, we get to see someone who may or may not be a clone in this issue, which is kind of cool.
No, yeah, that was very exciting.
That's one of my favorite parts that I wish actually went somewhere, but we can get more into that when we do the last book here.
I actually, I do have quite a bit to say about that just from this one issue alone.
Yeah.
So for starters, I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know if we're on the same page. I think I probably am on a minority on this, but I actually really like the Order of the Scryers,
Mm-hmm.
like that cult. I don't know what
I
it
like.
is. I've always liked the aesthetic of it. I like their kind of weird cultish devotion to Norman. I always thought that was really interesting, and if utilized right, it could be used in a lot of really interesting ways. But I can see why so many fans do not like that.
See, I like the idea of the scryers, and
Mhm.
I like all the things that you just said, like their devotion and whatnot. I just wish they didn't retcon Scryer and Traveler to get there.
Yeah,
But I mean, if they were going to do anything with it, I guess then that's what they were going to do.
yeah,
But it's not terrible. And honestly, this whole thing with Allison Mongrain
mhm.
is such a weird time capsule of Spider-Man
Yeah, it really
because
is.
it's you're under the assumption that the baby's gone already. Like you're under the assumption that the baby's dead.
Yeah.
So like, what are they getting, and what are they being so secretive about, and what is she attached to? Because even later on,
Mm-hmm.
we don't really. I mean, we get an answer
Mm-hmm.
in final chapter,
Mm-hmm.
but why would she get attached to the answer to the question that they present? Because it doesn't make sense. They're also like obviously wheeling something away,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just gonna say I don't think they're wheeling the old decrepit lady away, who is like actually the big reveal at the end of final chapter. So what the fuck? It's that whole like, did they have anything planned up to this point, or
they
is it just fuckery?
I'm going to assume that it must have been like changed later on. Like it, like the reason I'm under that impression is because I mean, you said you haven't read Spider Girl, right?
Not all of it together, no.
Okay, so in Spider Girl, they actually tell a kind of variation of what happens in these two issues, where like Kane saves her from them and saves the child, Mayday, and returns it
Right.
to Peter, and Mongrain goes through like a whole redemption arc in that series. And when Mayday's all grown up, she finds out about all of this. She finds out about Kane's role in her childhood and bringing her back to her family, and in like Mongrain, and how Mongrain had kind of like regretted working for Norman, regretted taking the child, and had grown attached and had kind of like secretly from afar taking care of Mayday in a way. And, yeah, she had been like there was like assassination attempts and all that. And I just think it's interesting considering how a lot of the same creative team behind, Spider Girl worked on these books at this time. It might be that they that was their original intention, was to bring back the child into the story, but for whatever reason they weren't allowed to, so they had to change it. And then when they were writing Spider Girl, they decided, fuck it, we actually can tell that version of the story now. So let's go there.
No continuity constraints. No editorial decisions.
Yeah, because I think it's like so suspiciously similar what they end up doing in Spider Girl, and it's like, yeah, like in that it genuinely is just Mayday that she was delivering, you know?
Yeah, I definitely think I agree that's probably the intention here. But who knows if it was something that DeFalco did, and then
Hmm.
they were like, just leave it in because we're not sure, or what. That's why it'd be
Yeah,
nice to get some answers. I don't know. It could have been answered previously. Someone else might have asked it, and I'm just not aware. But it is just awkward, and just like I said, just very much so a time capsule to go back and just be like, huh. Well, that didn't go anywhere. But there's a lot of stuff in this time period and in the Clone Saga that's that same exact way, that that didn't go anywhere. Such as the Squires in general.
which is
They
an
don't really go anywhere here at all.
which is another reason why I tend to love recommending Spider Girl, because that book does actually do something with this whole like storyline that was basically dropped. That they were like, you know, there were ideas there. Let's actually implement them, because Spider Girl actually bothered to try and resolve storylines from the Clone Saga. So,
Nah, but the Clone Saga sucks, so
uh,
so
I
I don't know. I don't know if I want any more of that.
I will say I did think that the scene itself was very eerie. And I enjoyed like the kind of the just the scene itself, even if it doesn't go anywhere. The scene in isolation was like appropriately creepy, you
Oh
know?
yeah, I think that the couple pages here and then what we see next issue,
Hmm.
um, are really great, like isolated content without
Absolutely.
them going anywhere. But also, Bald Kane isn't real and he can't hurt you.
I'm
He sim-
also
He is.
I'm really enjoying the subplot of Robbie using this like honeymoon vacation to look into Norman's shady business
Oh, I love
operations.
it so much. It's so
Yeah,
good.
I think it's the best possible like way they could have taken that storyline with Robbie being at odds with Norman. It's
It is so unfair to Martha, and I do
yeah,
feel really bad for her.
but also that's
But
part of what makes it so fun. It's like it drives up the
yeah,
drama so much, which is
well, and like Robbie's, it's that thing where,
yeah.
especially in the past couple issues, where she's like, "You're not doing what you love anymore. You love the Bugle for the news, the
Mm,
true-hearted, solid news."
hmm
And so this is exactly what she wants him to be doing, but she's not aware that he's using this opportunity to do so. And I think it's so great. I wish we got to see like more establishing of this before this issue, where we
Yeah.
could see like maybe Robbie like on his computer doing research about things, or like having the tickets set aside already,
hmm
or like a planner. But even without anything like that establishing, just the fact that we get it at all, and Robbie's having to unfortunately lie to his wife
hmm
about this whole thing and who he's on the phone with and the reason they're going to the docks, and all of this. It's just it's great. I love that suspense. Like you said, it's really good.
No, yeah, and again, we mentioned it last issue, but it is really nice to actually see this story with Robbie advancing and actually like having it unfold as opposed to having it be very much Robbie and Martha in one place talking about it, which was something that I took issue with in those Carnage issues.
Yeah. What do you this is off topic of Robbie, but what do you think of Peter's motivation as Ricochet?
I
I
thought
think it's really intriguing that he's so hell bent on just like straight up revenge as Ricochet more than anything.
I well, for starters, I thought his cover was like almost comedically elaborate. Like, did he need to be so specific? But that's whatever, Peter. You're a showman. Do your thing.
Yeah.
He, I kind of attribute that to his like like his performer roots. Um, but the whole vengeance thing, I don't know. I am not entirely sure if it's out of character for him to be questioning this much whether or not he can control himself from committing murder. Because I don't like.
It's so like I understand. Did you read Spider Hunt?
I did not. I have not read it.
Okay. Well, he gets absolutely fucking humiliated in Spider Hunt. So like
Jesus.
I get it,
hmm
but also like of all people that you want to kill,
hmm
it's this guy who let you live, because in Spider Hunt
hmm
they Black Tarantula ambushes him at the Bugle,
hmm
and he just beats the ever living shit out of him. Tells him to stay out of New York. Peter's like, I have to go save a child. And Black Tarantula says, go save the child, then fuck off. You're not Spider Man anymore. If you are, I'm coming back and I'll kill you.
Okay.
But when he does that, he beats Peter to a pulp and rips off his mask, doesn't look at his face, doesn't care, and takes the mask as a trophy.
I
So,
absolutely I absolutely like understand the anger, and I think him being kind of hell bent on taking him down is absolutely justified, but I don't know about him, questioning, oh, like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to
the
control
revenge, yeah,
myself. Like,
the
huh?
revenge is justified, but the like I might kill this guy is kind of crazy when he actively does not allow himself to kill Norman Osborn multiple times throughout the past issues and in the future. But
I
here
just think
he's like, I might kill this guy.
it is so at odds with my I think I mentioned this last time, my personal favorite Spider-Man story, which is Maximum Carnage, where it's
Yeah.
14 entire issues justifying Peter's kind of mentality that no matter how bad a person gets, you still do not have the right to take a life. Like that is 14 entire issues where he is tested to his fucking limits. Like more than ever really with seeing the evil that people can produce. and being surrounded by people all urging him like, are you seriously gonna let this guy like continue breathing? And he has to like toe the line. He has to stand his fucking ground and say, yes, I am gonna like keep this man breathing. I am gonna stop you from killing him, and I'm gonna make sure that this person here, Carnage, the worst person to ever live, yada yada, gets the right to live. Like I think it's very at odds with that kind of take on the character.
Yeah.
It's just I don't feel like I don't know. From
Which is so
what I
interesting
understand,
because
it
the
doesn't.
Falco is a big part of that story too.
Yeah, it just. I'm just gonna assume that it is just they're trying to drive up the drama of it. Like, oh, like Black Tarantula really is this big of a deal. He's got Peter this pissed off, but I I just don't buy it. I just don't buy that he's that pissed off.
I
Angry,
agree.
yes, but uh
Yeah, angry is fine, but I don't know.
bloodlust might
There's a
be
line.
yeah, bloodlust might be a bit much.
I did like um seeing the fight between Delilah and Peter as Ricochet.
Mhm.
I think she's just one of my favorite characters of this time period because I think she's just so weird. Like I don't know why she's so loyal to the wimpy, shitty Rose.
I have
Um,
I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea who she is.
oh really? She's a Clone Saga character.
Oh God, how did I? What part
Yeah,
of the Clone Saga?
the very end, she appears in
Ah,
Amazing 414.
fuck.
She goes after Shirley's ex-husband,
Hmm. That like
who's
final portion of the Clone Saga, like the kind of stuff that's in the second Ben Reilly omnibus, is the stuff that I am least
well,
familiar
it was
with.
it was during what I call the filler months
That makes
because it
sense.
was it was after Blood Brothers, and
Oh
so
fuck, yeah,
they
yeah.
had just gotten delayed 6 more months or whatever,
No, yeah, I
and
think that
so they were
little
just like
area
doing
there.
whatever.
The little area around
It
like Spider Carnage, Blood Brothers, and like Along Came a Spider. Anything after that, but before Revelations, it's such a fucking blur to me. I have no
it,
idea.
the Delilah issue is the issue right before the amazing part of the Onslaught tie-in.
Ah, gotcha.
So it's like stuck in that period between the Toy Wars issue with Mysterio
Yeah.
and Onslaught.
Hmm.
So it's kind of just like bastard in the center. But she's been a big part of Amazing at this time period.
Gotcha.
Um, they kind of tell you here, but yeah, she was like murdered by the Black Tarantula, and then he used his swag power to revive her.
Mhm.
So you know, it's pretty crazy. She's definitely been through it,
What
and
what issue did that happen in? Because I when I was reading it, at first, like I said, I wasn't familiar with the character, so at first I was just thinking like, oh, is this like a completely new character who's getting introduced this issue? But then that happened, that little flashback. So I was just
yeah,
like, well,
that
first of all,
was
okay, so this is not a new character, and second of all, why the hell is she half naked in this flashback?
yeah. So she was so she was like in a bathtub. She was taking a bath or something,
Okay.
and Black Tarantula just like crashes in
Uh-huh.
because she killed El Uno, who was Black Tarantula's like big enforcer dude.
Yeah.
So she like chopped off his head and sent it to him as a Christmas present or whatever.
Okay.
And and then he gets his revenge by visiting her in like the bathtub or whatever and murdering her and then
Uh.
reviving her. And that was back in what was that? The return of oh god, was that the return of Doc Ock or was it before that? I'm having a hard time remembering right now. I think it was during the return of Doc Ock that happened.
Mm.
It was like near the end of that whole story because he hadn't really been introduced like full on yet. He
Mm.
was just kind of still man in the shadows. I'm
Okay.
trying to find the exact issue.
No,
See
yeah,
if I
because
can.
like that's the main thing that stood out to me. I was just
Okay,
thinking
yes.
like,
So
why
it
is
was
she
it was 4:28,
okay?
and she's in her bathing suit, and then he pops in, and then he shoves her face through a brick wall,
Oh my gosh.
kills her, and then revives her,
I
and is
see.
like, I could do it again, man.
No, I
Keep
thought that
prepared.
was the little snippet of it in this issue. I just caught me off
That
guard.
panel is fucking weird.
No, yeah, I was just like, what is going on
It
here?
doesn't.
What the fuck is this?
Well, especially because her wording. She says, "I was as hopeless as a newborn.
No,
The one
yeah.
time I fought the black tarantula."
No, yeah,
So
like
it's like,
genuinely, I was just
oh
reading that like
gosh.
where is this going? I'm kind of scared right now.
Yeah, it's especially I don't I just don't think that panel was drawn very well. It's kind of freaky because in the issue where it happens, she's wearing like a one-piece bathing suit too.
Okay.
She's not wearing whatever this scary like thong device is that I can't even really understand because what is he gripping?
I don't know.
Why is it like a bottom with a waist like pull here yank me bar?
No, yeah, I
What?
was I was kind of thinking like why is this like this is framed so weirdly and it kind of makes me think that they might have been wanting to show some specific features if you know what I
I think
mean,
they
which
wanted to give her a wedgie.
yeah, it's just like all right guys, what
The
are we
the
doing?
the the pain behind that wedgie was too much. She almost died.
No, yeah,
But
I thought that was really strange.
besides that, the art's pretty good. Thanks, Joe Bennett. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that actually brings me to my favorite page was the one that was like almost silent. It was showing Peter's struggle in accepting like the offer to help Delilah.
yeah, the one where he just says "I'm in" or
Yeah, it
whatever.
just keeps panning
Yeah,
out farther and farther from him as he gives in to this urge of his. I think it's just pretty good visual storytelling and
I really wish
yeah.
that would have been the last page of the book.
Yeah, me too.
It's,
It would have been
like if we
pretty
would
damn
have
great.
just swapped it, like if we would have just made page 21 the black tarantula page and then the ending be Peter saying he's in, I think that would have been really cool, especially after like we see the photo with MJ in it and he's vowing revenge and then we get Peter saying that he's in, just to add that extra layer of like, is it MJ he's after? Obviously it's not, but is it MJ he's after? That sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been a much stronger ending. It would have left you on a much like higher, yeah, just a higher high. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. But overall I like I'll say this and then we can kind of move on.
Yeah.
I like I like two things I will say. I like that Joe Bennett gets to redraw the moment that John Romita did for Spider Hunt, where Black Tarantula rips off his mask.
Mm,
And then I like that we focus so much on Peter just saying, like, he never even looked at my face. He didn't care who I was.
mm,
I was completely like under the radar. He just wanted to send me the message, and I just liked that idea a lot. Where Black Tarantula really doesn't care about anything
mm.
except for finding, the woman that he's looking for. Also, Kmart has a cameo in this, so rest in peace, Kmart.
Rest in peace. Oh, one final note is that I really liked the banter between Peter and MJ. I like. I think I said it last time as well in those Carnage issues. This era of Spider-Man, the 90s, the 80s and 90s, their dynamic is so fun, and I really liked how involved she was in his activities in this issue.
Yeah,
Just, helping him pick out a costume, helping him kind of figure out an identity to go out there and do what he needs to do. It lends to some really fun story beats, some fun jokes. And yeah, like this kind of stuff, it just kind of tends to be my favorite part of this era, which is why so many people think it was such a awful mistake to dissolve this fucking marriage because they are so good together.
they are. I like that she likens him to Mr. Potato Head here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really
that
funny.
that
Like
was
like you said, the banter is just really good, and we just get her. encouraging him to use all these identities. While I don't think I agree that he needs four identities to catch everybody off guard,
Hmm.
I think that's a little excessive um, in terms of like thinking practically.
Yeah.
But I do like that she's involved in three of the four identities. The only one that she doesn't design is Dusk, because he gets that from the negative zone.
Hmm.
So the fact that she designed Prodigy, Hornet, and this one, it's perfect because she's the model, she's the fashionista, she's Mary Jane. So it makes so much sense for her to be able to piece these together and create these elaborate superhero costumes.
Yeah, her.
And she's just so into it in developing the names and developing the looks. It's perfect.
Oh yeah, it's honestly my favorite. Like having read it earlier this year for the first time, Identity Crisis, it was my favorite part. Was just how much MJ was just digging doing this for him. You know, like helping him out with this because she seems to really enjoy like this kind of aspect of things, like helping him pick out costumes, helping him create designs, just just giving him new identities and also it must be nice for her to know that he's being safer and that he's not as much in danger of dying in these new identities because no one's trying to kill him as fiercely as they do when he's out there being Spider-Man.
Yeah, except now, I mean, we see it kind of in the next issue,
Hmm.
but he's not. Since Ricochet is technically a bad guy,
Hmm.
there's that moral dilemma there too, where
Yeah.
like, was she gonna prove that? But he's not a bad guy for very long because he doesn't exist.
Hmm.
And honestly, I think that of all the identities, Ricochet is the one I would have liked to see a lot more of.
Hmm.
But next issue barely has him in it, so why don't we get to it?
Actually, but before we do, you saying that actually, I hate to keep bringing up Spider-Girl, but fuck, they also do the whole Peter coming up with a random like identity to not be Spider-Man thing in that series that had me and my friends scratching our fucking heads because it was like really late into the series and it was him trying to dissuade Mayday from being Spider-Girl anymore by dressing up in a like weird like card themed supervillain getup and beating her ass for some reason.
Damn,
like for
tough love.
like pretending to be like this weird new criminal in town. And you don't know that it's him until he like reveals it. But it's like, what are you doing, Peter? What was that all about? Why did you do that? He took so much pleasure in it. He like really got into the role. He gave him like a whole different personality and everything. And I'm just like, Peter, what are you doing, man? It's not that fucking serious. But yeah, I just think it's fun that he like when he gets to kind of slip into this fake criminal sort of like cover for some reason he just gets really into it. Like he goes all the way. I don't know why he does it, but he seems to really enjoy it.
Well, according to Twitter.com, the only good version of Peter is when he's busting ass. So I guess he's just meant to be a villain.
I do think it's interesting that in the Dick I feel like no one ever brings this up, but in the Ditko run he goes like at least two issues without even considering being a superhero. Like he does superhero like things in those first two issues, but not really because he's trying to be a superhero, more so because it just kind of comes along that he needs to do things. He's more so just trying to make money.
Yeah.
And he's even like in those first two issues, he like keeps reflecting on like, oh, maybe I should be a criminal, maybe I should be a supervillain. Like he jumped to that before he even considered being a superhero. That's more of like a thing that just kind of naturally happened. He was like, "Oh, I guess I'm a hero now. This is what I do." All right.
All teenagers just want to be fucking evil.
I think that's hilarious. I feel like not not a single adaptation has taken that route. And it's just that it was so jarring for me reading those issues and being like, "Yo, why is Peter like this?" Like he's just talking about how he should like rob banks and stuff. Like, oh, all right, I guess.
Cool guy. Great.
Yeah, I feel like they tend to streamline him a lot in other media to just kind of have him like after Uncle Ben dies, he's just immediately like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a hero in his honor to make up for what I've done." But in those original books, that it took a while for him to kind of get to that point. He was just kind of like, "Shit, I gotta support my family now that Uncle Ben's done. Like he's gone. I could commit crime, I guess."
Time to rob banks.
He just I think it's crazy. It's just like that fucking I forgot what issue it was, but it just has like a little stinger where it's like, "Oh, tune in next time to find out if Peter's gonna become a villain." Like, oh, okay. Like I genuinely I wish they would do that more
I
often.
believe you, Stan. I believe you.
I genuinely do wish they would bring that part of those original books back into like I don't know, an animated show or something. Just just have it be like more of a gradual progression where he turns into a hero as opposed to like what they usually do. Just have that like period of time where he's just in it for the money. He's just like, I gotta pay my bills. I gotta, take care of my aunt. I don't know, should I commit crime? Fuck, I should take pictures of that vulture guy. Fuck, vulture saw me, now he's beating me up. I gotta do something about this. Like he did, like he only fought the vulture because the vulture spotted him. I think that's fucking hilarious. Crazy how crazy how things have changed since the
Yeah.
60s.
Bring back my evil Spider-Man.
Truly, truly. Morally challenged. Is that the
Yeah.
All right. Amazing Spider-Man issue 435. Written by Tom DeFalco with pencils by Joe Bennett. This issue is titled Fun and Games with the Four-Star Squad. I did not check the dates.
April 8th, 1998.
Thank you. So this issue starts with two criminals noticing that they're being tailed by someone, but they can't figure out who. It's Peter, in his dusk identity, using the shadows to disguise himself. These goons, who talk really weird, work for the Black Tarantula, which is why MJ ends up taking issue with Peter following them. She thinks it's dangerous, and she doesn't like that both of them are starting to lose track of the four different new identities that he's conjured up, and their individual cover stories. Meanwhile, Delilah, in a very revealing outfit yet again, might I add, informs the Rose of Ricochet and his agreement to help them in taking down Black Tarantula's organization. Rose is late to a meeting with Don Fortunato and the Black Tarantula, allowing time for those two to talk in private. Don Fortunato tells him a legend of a warrior and explorer who sought the secret of immortality and mastery over martial arts. And the way that he concludes the story sort of implies that he believes Black Tarantula to be this man. Meanwhile, the Scryers are visited by Kane, who hospitalizes them on his quest for revenge on Norman Osborn. Robbie sees this after he visits the hospital hoping to find Mongrain there. Delilah and Ricochet decide to tail the two goons working for Tarantula to a restaurant, and they get into an altercation that ends up getting Delilah severely hurt. Peter has to leave and, leave her to be tended to by the cops. Peter realizes during this just how right MJ was, as he continuously reaches for gadgets that he doesn't currently have on hand because he's no longer Spider-Man, such as his web shooters. After this ordeal, he decides to try taking them down again at the shipyard in a fun sequence where he continues to switch in and out of all four identities to take them down. It's a fun concept. I enjoyed it quite a lot. And I especially like Peter's like Superman voice for Prodigy.
Yeah.
He does end up letting them go in exchange for knowing who their intended target was on behalf of the Black Tarantula. And it's either MJ or one of her university friends. End of issue.
Why do we get another issue where the villains aren't Spider-Man villains?
I don't know who the fuck these two bozos are.
They're Rough House
Uh-huh.
and Blood Scream,
I
and
see.
they're Wolverine villains.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
All right, I
or they were
guess.
at least introduced in Wolverine books,
No, yeah,
and
it said
we've never seen
somewhere.
them before now, and we don't see them after.
It said in like an editor's note in there that they had fought Wolverine, so I didn't think too heavy into it. I was like, whatever. It's just two bozos. I don't know who these people
Just
are
two random fucking guys
who
that
talk really weirdly.
one looks like Mr. Hyde from 2 issues ago, and the other one looks like was that Sticks?
Yeah, honestly, I was just thinking the whole time, like, why isn't this just Sticks and Stone? Like, they're
Yeah,
basically the
it
same
should be.
fucking characters. His
Yeah,
abilities are basically the damn same.
yeah.
It's just,
He
he
just makes
just.
people bleed instead of sucking them. For lack of better wording.
I don't know what was up with his vernacular, but
Yeah, strange.
yeah,
In on one hand, I do like the idea of like them losing track of all the identities,
yeah.
but I really wish we could have gotten like another full issue of Peter as Ricochet.
Oh no,
Um,
absolutely.
but that sequence at the end is so fun. I can't really knock it too hard.
I do remember when I first read this, I felt very disappointed that it seemed like every other identity got like their full time to shine, but Ricochet just kind of got one issue, and then an
Yeah,
issue that was like, let's do all four of them at once. Which, on the one hand, I'm glad we got to have that because I do think it's fun to have, you know, like him kind of going back and forth between all these identities. I think that's part of the fun of this issue, but at the same time, now it feels a bit disproportionate, which is
I think
unfortunate.
if ASM was the last book of the month and not the second book of the month,
Yeah.
um, it would have been a good finale for
Mhm.
Identity Crisis. This part,
Yeah.
but the fact that there's still the conclusion of Dusk and the conclusion of Prodigy after this,
Mhm.
it's kind of that it just doesn't feel like a good middle part to
I
the whole thing.
I don't know if this is like maybe asking for too much, but I still think that this should have been more of like a true era, I guess. Like they should have had him have these four different identities for just a bit longer. Maybe at least one
I
more
wish it was
issue.
a yeah, I wish it was a full 3 months of
I
the identities because oh my god, the filler after
yeah, I would have
these issues is kind of just
I would
slog.
I would go even longer than that. I'd go for 4 or 5 months just because I'm thinking of Reign of the Supermen. I
Yeah.
fucking adored Reign of the Supermen growing up, and this could have been their Reign of the Supermen, where it's just each title has their own quote unquote Spider-Man stand-in, where Peter's this taking on this new identity, and each one has its own completely different vibe, completely different tone, and completely different storyline that all connect for like a period of time, so that it feels like a true like little era, this big massive saga, that could have been really fun. Because like as is in Identity Crisis is fun, but I just feel like it doesn't live up to the full potential of its premise.
It's sad because after this, we do have 4 more months before the Gathering of Five happens.
Hmm.
And in those months, there is, some interesting stuff. Goblins of the Gate is a big one that happens at that time that
Yeah.
people really enjoy. And There's the whole return of Kingpin and who was Joey Z thing in Peter Parker,
Mm-hmm.
and we get Mike Ringo's last issue on Sensational at that time, which I've said it before is one of my favorite single issues of this entire like era that the podcast is. It's a
Mm-hmm.
fantastic issue. If you have never read that, please do.
Okay.
Um, issue 31 of Sensational Spider-Man.
31 of
Um,
Sensational.
not on Marvel Unlimited, but
This
I've
is
got a
so
scan if you want to read
unfortunate.
it.
Okay.
I've got a scan if you want to read it.
Awesome.
But before that, we just get a lot of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like amazing. The issue after this book is the end of the Black Tarantula story
Yeah.
for Amazing Spider-Man, and then we still have 3 months after. What happens in those 3 months is that Peter fights Plant Man, Peter fights VR again, and that there's like there's an issue of the future where someone like finds a web shooter and they recollect what might have happened, and then they show you what actual was like a legacy issue. I don't really know. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
But we could have had more of this if we weren't kind of rushing and everything was kind of like up in the air, because I assume during that 4 month period is when they were trying to figure out how they were going to end it. And because they knew that, as far as I know, they knew that the reboot was coming
Mm.
by Identity Crisis.
Okay.
So it was either that or they knew like they knew something about the marriage being challenged and like all this, because it was in Wizard at the time. Wizard, they held nothing back, where they kind of knew that they would talk to the editors and they would just give them all the answers, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yes, they did know that the reboot was coming to keep Amazing and Peter Parker by this time. So I guess they were just developing how they were going to come across that and needed a couple months of just nonsense. But if that was the case, it would have been really great for Identity Crisis to be
Just a bit
maybe not
longer.
maybe not the full 7 months or whatever that is in total, but yeah, like you said, like 4 to 5 months
Mm-hmm.
of Peter balancing all this stuff, trying to figure out more of Norman's grand plan, maybe going more into this whole thing with Black Tarantula, then
You
getting the conclusion of Black Tarantula, and then doing the final chapter stuff.
Yeah, because you could do something really fun, which is where like as the months go by, um, you can kind of tell that Peter is struggling more and more and more to juggle these different identities, and he's struggling even harder because they just aren't true to who he is. And you could have had it lead up to this big like triumphant moment where after months of not having Spider-Man in your Spider-Man book, Peter has to don the costume again in order to succeed over Norman or whatever it is that the storyline that they're doing is. You could have had that be like a big moment where, he's forced to no longer be Spider-Man, but he still wants to be a hero. So, for a couple of months there, he's trying his hardest to still operate as a hero, but under these different identities. And it just gets too much to juggle and too much to kind of, do these things, but also not be true to who he is as a person, to the point where the only way for him to actually come out of it is to just be Spider-Man and stand his ground.
Yeah. It all just ends way too quickly,
Yeah,
and none of them have none of the well. So two of the four Identity Crisis stories, I feel, actually like hold weight,
yeah.
and it's the Hornet one and the Dusk one,
Hmm.
because they're the ones where the most happens. It's in Peter Parker where Peter clears his name
Hmm.
of the murder against Trapster, and those issues are fucking phenomenal. Um, which I'm glad is going to be next episode.
Hmm.
Um, and then in the Hornet stuff, you get more of that, like, it's the only one where Norman finds out that Spider-Man is, like, that Peter is one of these identities.
Hmm.
So, like, that's a major plot point. But here, nothing really comes of Ricochet because Delilah gets floored again, and then just they don't care anymore.
I do
Like,
think it's funny that they made such a big deal last issue of this alliance coming to be,
yeah,
and
and then they don't even face Black Tarantula.
like
They just
this is
face these new nobodies.
like this is what comes of it. All right, like they go in together. She gets beat almost instantly. He's just like, oh, that sucks. And then
It's like, gotta go.
Like, oh, that's it just feels like a waste of time. It
Yeah,
really
I would
does,
totally
and I
agree
think
with
it's
that.
unfortunate because I I think the premise of Identity Crisis, if you know, if you sat down and you really hashed it out and you like took the proper time, it could be an all-time great. It genuinely could be like one of the best, you know.
And it's one of the standout stories of this time period. I mean, it's one of the three
I
ones
mean,
to
it gets
get
referenced.
collected.
It gets referenced to this day,
Yeah,
like
and I mean
consistently.
it gave birth to the Slingers like spin-off book too
Yeah,
later on. So like it obviously has its importance and people love the costumes of this story,
they're great.
but
They're
I feel
fantastic.
but it's most remembered for Hornet and Dusk because those are the only books where things happen.
Yep.
So sorry that we're just ragging on this. I think what you just said
Mhm.
sums it up perfectly. Just feels like a waste of time.
Yeah,
So,
and taking
and
such, yeah.
I like the last page of this issue a lot,
Mhm.
but the fact that he's wearing the damn Hornet costume in the fucking book that has the Ricochet cover on the last page is driving me crazy.
Yes, you because you said it's your favorite of the four, right? Like the design at least.
Ricochet, yeah, I like the Ricochet costume.
Then yeah, it's even more disappointing then that he
Yeah,
just that design just doesn't get its true flowers, I guess. It's unfortunate.
it's okay. I play as it in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game.
Yeah, it's God, yeah, I really do love all four designs, and
They're so good.
I take pride in the fact that for a couple of years there, I kept telling like I would say to my friends like, you know, it would be cool. It would be cool if they like decided to, you know, in some show or movie or whatever the fuck, they use these identities as like identities that Peter tried to make work before he landed on Spider-Man. And then Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the animated series, ended up doing exactly that.
Yeah,
Not super great,
yeah, I didn't
but
really like it, but
like
it
the
was an
fact that
effort.
they
An effort
actually
was
did
made.
that made me feel so vindicated. I was like, fuck yeah, I've been saying this for years that this would be
And
a
at the
fun
very least,
idea.
it's nice to see like Mike Wieringo's Hornet design in a TV show. Like that just makes me happy.
Yeah, it was fun to see. Fucking oh god, which one was the one I was missing? It was Ricochet, right?
Yeah, yeah, they didn't have Ricochet.
So sad. I don't know why. I mean, you already have the other
They won't give
three.
my boy flowers.
Yeah, yeah, you literally already have three out of the four. You might as well just do all four. But
It's
I
too
guess they
dated.
couldn't. Yeah, I guess. But
I don't know.
that
I
could
don't
have
think that's valid, but who
they could
knows?
have made they could have had that be the joke though. They could have had that be like
You could have had him dab.
I honestly I can imagine it being like because that version of Norman is kind of derpy. They could have had it be Norman like personally designing it, and he's just like, yeah, you know, like this, you know,
This one's for the
this was
kids.
yeah, exactly. And Peter's just like this kind of look hasn't really been a thing since the '90s, man. And he's like, like,
He
cause,
says, this shit is ass, Mr. Osborne."
cause like that version of Norman would have been young during the '90s. I feel like it would have been like a fun joke
Yeah,
that he's just a bit out of touch, and he designs this like very '90s costume for
yeah.
Peter. I again, like I think it's a fun idea. I feel like they didn't take it all away, but fuck, that's the same with this book, so whatever.
Yeah, but Kane's in it, so this is immediately way better.
Kane.
I need more of the black and gray Kane suit.
I honestly, I just thought it was a really weird silhouette. I didn't know that that's just what a suit looks like.
I'm guessing it's just what he's supposed to look like. It could have been a coloring error, but
Yeah,
he sure is in a black and gray caped suit with black hair and whatever.
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
thought
We
it was
never see it again, so
strange.
it doesn't matter. He disappears for like fucking 15 years.
So they don't follow up the Kane part of this at all?
No,
Are you are you joking? Or like
no, I'm serious.
I didn't what what the fuck are you
No, Kane
talking
doesn't ever come
about?
back. Kane Kane doesn't come back.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I
in
didn't
the
know.
Gathering of Five,
Why the
or
fuck did they bring him back in the first
in the Gathering of Five, they
place?
use Molten Man, and then they make Molten Man want to kill Allison Mongrain,
Okay.
and then Kane isn't there.
What the fuck?
So like, you like how they don't do anything? I like how they don't do anything.
I
It's
didn't
pretty cool.
I would have never guessed. I thought that was
Yeah, it seems like it's actually going somewhere, right?
yeah,
No, instead we have to focus on Override
okay.
and uh Madam Web and Molten Man
So
and
even more so, like
Override.
I have to assume that like what
Yeah,
they end up doing in
I literally
Spider-Girl
think,
is what they
as
wanted to do, but they weren't
as
allowed to
someone who
for whatever
hasn't read
reason.
Spider Girl, from my understanding, from what everyone I know who loves Spider Girl, which is every single one of my friends,
Yeah.
has told me, is that it's literally just Tom DeFalco picking up the scraps of what was supposed to happen or what he wanted to do and just doing it. Since
Yeah.
it was out of continuity and without anybody telling him, fuck no. So
Yeah.
just like, more Kane, more Scryers, more this, more that. And that's why I need to read Spider Girl, but I'm lazy as shit.
No, you definitely do gotta read it because it
I
really
got a
does.
podcast to worry about.
It feels like a proper continuation of the Clone Saga. I fucking love that book
Yeah.
so
And
much.
this stuff too. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
like
kind of got all the best stuff.
yeah, just reading this, I'm like, okay, I see bits and pieces of what would later become major fucking storylines in that
But what
book.
if I like that it doesn't go anywhere? But what if that makes me really happy?
I mean, if you love Kane, if you love Kane, I genuinely think you're gonna adore Spider-Girl because they use him
Yeah.
so
I just need
much.
to
Like
sit down and read it, because
he, yeah,
I read the first, I think, 30 issues last year
yeah,
when I was like had time,
hmm
and then I got sidetracked with a million different things. And I haven't really been able to read anything recently that aren't these books,
hmm
since I'm doing them kind of weekly at this point.
yeah.
I don't have a lot of time.
I mean, were you enjoying it while you were reading it? Those first like
No, yeah,
30
I was having a
issues?
ton of fun with it. I really liked it. And I
Yeah.
mean, I read, I don't know if I mentioned it when we talked last time, but I read the
hmm
like digest versions when I was younger.
Oh yeah,
They
like
made those like little
the really small
digests.
mini ones. Yeah, I
Yeah,
I
like
read those
my
too.
library would carry those. So like I would read those, but I never read them in order.
Mm.
So it would just be whichever one I is there when I go to the library that week I would read. That
Honestly,
and the
yeah, same
Aranya ones
here.
I would read all the time. So,
Same here. I have the basically the exact same story there.
yeah.
It was something where
Um
like later on I kind of just would find individual issues just kind of lying around here and there. And I finally at some point decided to sit down, me and my friend, and just fucking read the whole series start to finish, which was not our that was not our original intention. I just kind of wanted to introduce him to the character because, I grew up reading her a lot and, he doesn't read comics that much. And I thought, well, Spider-Girl is very new reader friendly, like insanely so. They do such a good job of making it like something that you could pick up, and if you've never read a book before, you're not gonna be lost. They fucking explain it all to you. And just we read it and then we just kind of kept fucking going.
I don't know if I like when things are explained or go anywhere, though. That's why I'm a really big fan of this specific issue of Amazing Spider-Man, and only this one.
I'm actually in disbelief. I had no idea that this didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's really shameful
That's fucking
because
oh my
I
God.
really would have liked to see more, but they just didn't have time for it, apparently. They had to do the Plant Man issue, and they had to do the one where he fights VR dinosaurs again.
Well, if you do want that continuation, it does exist. You just have to read it.
Yeah, but dinosaurs, man. Like, he fights dinosaurs is kind of cool.
I do want to see him fight dinosaurs. That would be fun.
It kind of sucks.
Oh,
But Daredevil's there.
it couldn't have been Kane.
Dude, Kane versus dinosaurs?
Yeah,
Kane
come on.
versus VR dinosaurs?
Oh, fuck, their VR. Never mind. I'm not interested.
Yeah, they're not real dinosaurs;
God
they're VR.
fucking damn.
Because Tom DeFalco wrote it,
Uh,
and he really likes VR at this time.
no, yeah,
Anyway, major
genuinely
things
the
that happen in this issue. Since
yeah.
we're getting way too sidetracked. We get to Black Tarantula's origin. Finally, we learn that he's actually immortal, even though we already knew that because he said it like 4 issues ago. Um, he's gonna do his whole thing. Who cares? Peter beats these guys up. That's great. What an issue. Thank you, Spider-Man, for that.
Woo! Spider-Man.
Really, the only thing that's major is that we once again find out that Tarantula's after somebody, and we know his origin now, and that's
It's
about it.
this
Everything else is the fighting filler, like whatever.
yeah, this was the easily like not even close. This was the weakest of the three issues.
Yeah, I
It's
think that's saying a lot considering we were pretty harsh on that Mr. Hyde book,
yeah, but at
but at least it
least
kind of had a beginning, middle, and end, and it stayed consistent throughout.
not to
Here
mention
was
that it
just like we're
had
trying to do way too much.
that one had an actual like we mentioned, it had an interesting setting, it had an interesting premise. It didn't fully realize any of it, but at the very least it kept me engaged because I'm like, oh, this is a fun idea. This is like a good like mini story of Peter having to fight out of costume in a place where everyone knows who he is and could easily tell who he is if he, makes a wrong move. Whereas here it's like I don't care about
Yeah,
any
it
of
just
what's
it just
going on.
drags down this 3 issue story so hard
Which is a
because
shame.
the last issue I would say is like it's like a 7 or an 8 to me.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, we
And
didn't
and
give
this well, it's typically, I mean, what I was trying to do with the Identity Crisis was like lot the last 2 books together because it's
Mhm,
technically that continuation or whatever. But with how vastly different these 2 books are, I probably should have done individual ratings.
mhm.
Like I would give last issue like an 8, and this
Yeah.
issue I would give like a 4,
No,
and that's
yeah.
really low, but like a 4.
No, yeah, because I was thinking kind of the same thing. I would have given the last issue probably around a 7 because I thought it was definitely like significantly stronger than the Mr. Hyde issue. And it had like we mentioned, it had some pretty good visual storytelling in there. I liked the pace of that issue quite a lot, actually. I was
Yeah,
enjoying like it was slower, but it wasn't at all boring. Everything that they were showing us was interesting. I was, like learning just kind of seeing how Black Tarantula was kind of influencing the people around him, like all these different people, how they're like all kind of mobilizing and kind of changing their like what they're up to because they're like, oh, this new guy in town who's fucking disrupting the waters. We don't know how to deal with him. We like, what the fuck do we do? I think that was cool, and also the whole Scryer Mongrain boat explode thing was fun.
yeah, suspenseful. Whereas here, nothing
Yeah,
happens.
nothing fucking happens.
Nothing is followed up upon
No
except for, I guess, the
payoff.
thing with the scryers. But
Yeah,
even then, it's just
not
Kane
a.
goes after them. They're sent to the hospital. Joe goes, "Oh my God, Kane!" And then guess what? Nothing fucking happens.
Ugh. I yeah, I never in a million fucking years would I have guessed that was the
It seems
outcome
like
of
it would
that.
be such a major plot point.
Yeah,
It
it
seems like it
feels
would
like
be
it.
so major, but it's literally just like Allison and the Robertsons come back to New York,
Yeah.
and that's all that happens. And then she tries to find Peter as Molten Man tries to murder her. And that's all that we do from this. That's all that comes of this whole thing with Allison.
That is depressing.
So that's spoilers for 7 or 8 episodes from now. But there you go, people. If you haven't read it, there you go.
No, yeah, I think like I said, the last episode, what the fuck, the last issue I would have given around a 7. This one, I don't want to be too harsh, but I was damn near considering a 3. I got nothing.
Yeah.
There
No, you're.
really is nothing.
I think that's super fucking valid, and that might be the lowest. That might be the lowest rating on the show, honestly. Besides my co-host's really damn brutal rating for the first arc of Sensational Spider-Man,
Oh, what was
but
that?
it was like a 3 or 4
Hmm.
for the Savage Land thing. I can't remember. It was really low. He hates those books.
Like, I wouldn't say I hate this. I was just kind of dead. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's just not fun to read.
to give context, I was reading this on like like on a car ride back home, uh, after a wedding that I attended, and I had read the first two issues on the car ride to the wedding because it was an hour drive, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just finish reading these right now," right? And on the ride back, I was exhausted after a really long and very fun
I'm
wedding.
sure this didn't help you at all.
Yeah, it was a very fun wedding. I had a damn good time, and yeah, like literally over an hour drive, and it took me a solid like 40 minutes to actually get through it because I just kept getting bored. I was like, what are we doing?
This is a great book to read if you want to go to sleep.
No, absolutely. I was just chilling. I was like, all right. I was in the back seat and everything, and in the like while reading it, I was having a conversation. All of us were talking about like, holy shit, Netflix bought Warner Brothers or whatever.
Oh
How do we
yeah.
all feel about that? And my friend was asking about this fucking Scream 7 trailer. We were like, no, don't. We're not gonna watch Scream 7. We're not gonna watch it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
But
for a multitude of reasons.
I'm so it's just a shit show. It's all
Yeah.
such a fucking shit show. But I was more invested in all of that than what was going on in this one issue. And I had to write the summary. I don't know if, like, I mean, you must have noticed how, like, disinterested my summary was.
Yeah, I felt so bad to pass it on to you, but I was like, I don't think I can do it. Like after doing I did like 3 or 4 weekly episodes in a row where I had to write every single summary,
Mm.
and I was like, I don't think I can bring myself to do this one.
No,
I
I
just like could
honestly,
not take it.
I don't mind taking the slack. I was able to condense it. I was like, you know what? Fucking whatever. Like two or
It
three
doesn't need to
pages in one
be.
sentence. I don't care.
Yeah, honestly, for something like this, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because nothing fucking
If it's
happens.
a book with substance, you can get a lot out of it. If not, it's like I don't have any interest in talking about this, so let's just get through it.
Yeah, like those Carnage issues last time. I feel like, you know, my like I was a lot more in depth with
Yeah,
talking about those, and
if you're invested in something and you care, it brings a lot out of you. Who knew?
yeah, and stuff actually fucking happens in that.
Yeah,
Whereas this, I'm just like, all right, because like I initially didn't even like I realized as I was reading my summary that I didn't even address the fact that she was like hospitalized, that she like, you know, Peter just kind of left her there. So I
yeah.
ad-libbed that. It's so if you like listen back, that part you can tell that I'm like,
It's
Peter fucking
it's
leaves her. I don't know, dude.
it's fine. Even in my script reads, I still stumble and add shit. So
No, yeah, I was literally like reading it. I'm like, wait, I don't mention the fact that Peter just fucking dips.
he's gone. He cares as much as we do.
Like, yeah, it's just it was such a nothing burger. It's like, what are we doing here? What? Why did we do all that last issue if this is all we were gonna fucking do with that? Like, it like retroactively makes me look at the last issue and be like, what? Why did we do any of this?
Why wasn't this a double-sized issue?
Honestly, yeah, fuck it. I don't know. I just
Oh
it feels
wow.
like because that last issue, like I said, good pace, and it feels like it's building up to something, and then you get this, and it's like, what was that building up to again? What are we doing? All right, we're done. What do you mean Kane doesn't come back?
Don't worry, he'll be back in 2009.
Oh yeah, fucking that weird storyline with Raptor or whatever his name
Fucking
was.
horrible fucking Raptor story. Yeah. Yeah. I hate that
I
one too.
yeah, I don't blame you. I remember not liking that at all. I only read it
I
one time, and I was at the library when I was in like eighth grade, and I was just like, What the fuck is happening?"
Dude, it was crazy. Okay, so this I'm leaving this all in. I don't even care.
Mhm.
I was asked to collaborate with a guy on Instagram
Yeah.
in a post about that story.
All right.
And I was like, "Can I say like bad things? I don't like it."
Hmm.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, I don't like it either." I was like, "Shit, okay." So it was like the whole post was, "What's wrong with this story?" And it's like 10 slides of us just saying this is crap. This is what's wrong.
I generally,
And
I
I
don't.
just felt so bad, but I mean, hey,
I mean, you gotta be honest, you know? Like,
yeah, just because it has clones in it doesn't mean I have to like it.
exactly. Can you like remind me what actually happens in that? Because all I remember is that, I mean, I remember the art being all right.
Yeah, the art is great. It's a Marco Cicchetto and Luke Ross,
Yeah.
so
I
it's really great like art.
mhm,
But the whole book is like Kane wants revenge on Peter,
mhm.
which doesn't make any sense for Kane's character at this time.
No, it does
After
not.
the Clone Saga, he wants Raptor wants to kill Peter because he thinks Ben Riley killed his family. And
Okay.
Peter is like, Ben might have done that, but I'm not him. And it's like, Peter, why would you even think that Ben did that? Why the fuck would that even cross your mind? You literally knew him. He was like your brother. And it's just, it like reverts Kane back to like stage one.
Like Lost
And
Years kind of
yeah,
Kane.
like Lost Years sort of thing, because uh, and also like in the flashbacks, it's inconsistent because Kane and Ben know that they're both like clones of each other or whatever,
Hmm.
and in the modern day, Kane thinks that Peter's the clone still, which doesn't make any sense at all. It's just like nothing makes sense. Ben is well written as a character for the most part, like in that story, but
Hmm.
there's no respect paid to him
Mm.
because Peter's just like, I don't know. Peter says this really fucked up thing about Ben only being an instrument to destroy his life
Oh my
from the
God.
Jackal, and I'm like, dear God, like you can tell it was written during the Clone Saga is the worst story of all time period.
Yeah.
Like it definitely reeks of that. But it's funny that it also came out the same year as the Clone Saga miniseries by DeFalco and Mackie,
Hmm.
and then JMD hopping back on web to do like the short stories. So like you have two really great things, and then you have big old shit happening in actual Amazing Spider-Man. But it gets rectified a couple years later when Yost takes over Kane. But
Yeah, it
it's a
it, it
weird book.
always kind of seems like, well, maybe
Mm.
not always, but there are so many portions of time periods in Spider-Man history where it really does feel like the main book is the worst out of everything going on for some fucking reason.
Yeah, I mean that's it's unfortunately valid. And there's a lot of the time where like that's not true, but definitely in like modern, ever since like the end of the Clone Saga, I guess there's been a lot of that where
Yeah.
it's kind of just like it's not consistent because you have a lot of times. I mean, I'd say like Brand New Day era, most of the stuff is pretty good. That might be a super hot take, but like from Brand New Day to Big Time, I like a lot of that stuff.
I'm
But
conflicted on a lot of it.
before, well, when they were like alternating writers
Hmm.
every other story, since it was bi-weekly or whatever,
Yeah.
um or no, I think it was 3 times a month
Yeah,
when
it
they
was three
started
times a
Brand New
month.
Day,
Yeah.
which is fucked up. But when they finally stopped that and they were just like, it's Slott and it's Slott's book, it was consistent. If nothing else, it was consistent. And I have a lot of, I guess, nostalgia and like of like Big Time specifically.
Yeah,
But But I mean, a lot of that is just kind of jumbled, and I think that that was probably the most consistent era of Amazing Spider-Man we've had in a long time.
mhm.
Um, because I'm not a fan of Nick Spencer, and I'm not really a fan of really anything that's come afterwards, except for Beyond. I like
My kind
Beyond,
of
but
perspective on all that is that uh, I it really is something I'm conflicted on because I did grow up during the time of Brand New Day. Like that was like I don't like the status quo of Brand New Day at, at all, really. But there were good stories told within that status quo, like New Ways to Die.
New Ways to Die is my favorite,
Yeah,
probably of the pre big time stuff at least.
yeah, New Ways to Die is fantastic. It's really good.
But then you also have bad stuff like The Return of Black Cat.
Oh fuck, yeah. That one's fucking weird. That
Yeah,
one's
there's
really weird.
so much weird at that time. So like I definitely see what you're saying, and I think it was just like the jumbled mess of writers all trying to do the same, like or like different things.
How do you?
I think
Sorry.
the worst story is that Molten Man one where he fights. Oh my god, what are they called? Um, was it the Enforcers? I don't think it was the Enforcers. It was, I don't know. It's the one where like the covers have go karts. It's like really weird.
Oh, I remember
Um,
that. Yeah,
yeah, but I
weird.
don't know. This is way off topic. Um, I'm probably gonna end the episode now, but yeah. So this string of books was weird.
hmm
Um, started off weird, really strong in the middle, and then ended on like a fucking down note, just like falling off the cliff immediately. Um,
Yeah.
but if you want to read them, they're part of the era. They're available on Marvel Unlimited. There was a trade about 10 years ago. If you can find it, it's like $100 now if you really want to buy it, or you can support your local comic shop and buy it in a back issued bin, which I'll always encourage the most. Um, there will not be an episode next week. Dusk will be postponed to the week after. Next week is my birthday, so
Oh,
I don't have time to write recaps.
first of all,
And
happy early birthday. Second of all, my birthday is 2 weeks from now.
oh shit, everybody I know has a December birthday.
Yeah, I know so many
Oh,
fucking Decembers. So many.
people just love popping them out in December. Um, but yeah,
Just in
so
time for the holidays, every time.
yeah, exactly. Stay tuned for Dusk the week after, which is going to be a great episode.
Mhm.
Adam's going to be back on that one, so it'll be great commentary. Um, thank you again, Louise, for joining me.
Of course. Thank
Um,
you for having me.
of course, and I'm glad we could make it work.
Mhm.
I know you did plug yourself at the end of last episode a little bit. If you'd like to do that again, you're more than welcome to. Just before we sign off,
Uh, I always forget my Instagram handle. I'd like the worst moment. Let
I
me.
can put it in the description
Thank you so
as
much.
well.
That would be very appreciated.
I think I did it on the last one.
No, but yeah, honestly, just if anyone's interested, check out my Instagram. That will most likely have updates sometime in the next 2 or so months on the feature that I'm working on, Nine Frogs, which I've been working on for almost 5 years now. We actually just had a test screening on like a couple of days ago at the bachelor party to the wedding because
That's exciting.
the groom insisted on watching it. He insisted, so I
Well, you can't
relented.
say no to the groom.
I can't. So I was like, you know what? We do have a finished cut. It has no music. It has no color grading. We haven't fixed up the audio, but technically it is edited. So
It is a form of the movie.
you can watch it. And there were claps, there were cheers, there were cries.
Standing ovation. Let's go.
No, like actually, as soon as the credits rolled, yeah, there were a whole lot of claps and people talking about how much they enjoyed it. They loved the characters, they
Okay.
loved the dialogue, they loved the story, and a lot of the visuals. despite how amateurish so much of it looks, in my opinion. I mean, we shot it 3 years
Always the
ago.
harshest critic.
We shot it 3 years ago when I was 19 and 20. So yeah, I definitely am pretty harsh on it. But at the same time, I am incredibly proud of it, and I'm very much looking forward to rolling it out finally,
Hell
and
yeah,
hopefully
that's
being able
awesome.
to, get into some local film festivals and stuff like that. Kind of, you know, see where that goes. But also, I will hopefully start posting art at some point on my Instagram. I have one single art piece of Venom that I do think is it's pretty decent, And people have been telling me to post my art more often. I just The reason I haven't is because I need to get like a scanner or something to be able to actually, because I do a lot of like just I just use a pen and paper.
Yeah,
And
traditional medium
yep,
stuff.
I need to actually scan that stuff, and because I don't want to just post like my fucking phone camera. Like
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
don't want to do that.
At the very least, you can go to the library and use their scanners. They usually don't mind.
Yeah, and also just take the time. Like I do need to take the time to actually look through and find my art that I think is worthwhile showcasing, and discard whatever the fuck isn't. And because I've been drawing for years, I just don't really share it. But yeah, that's something to look forward to if I end up not, you know, being lazy about it. But yeah, I should hopefully start rolling out more and more stuff for Nine Frogs sometime soon, like behind the scenes photos, maybe some new trailers. There are trailers currently on my Instagram. There are two trailers on YouTube that are linked in my Instagram. So that's something. There are posters, plenty of behind the scenes photos already. So yeah.
Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time when we cover the dusk. Have a good one. Bye.
See ya.